Eating. So we've identified, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on, that eating is a paramount part to getting into shape. Because when you think that on a treadmill, an hour run, you probably burn 200-300 calories at best, that's probably equivalent of a chocolate bar. So you're only going to have one chocolate bar more than you need every week in terms of our energy expenditure. And you're going to put on near enough half a pound every month, which is enough to put on near enough a stone at the end of the year, without even realising it. It happens and it creeps up on us. Now, the key is what we eat. Now, if the key is what we eat and also staying motivated and exercising, then psychologically there are areas that are important. Now, the areas that we'll look at is where eating is concerned. And a lot of people I work with over a long period of time will say, well, I don't overeat. I don't eat more than I should do. And they probably don't on most occasions. Yet there are certain occasions during the week where they might even have just so far as much as, you know, an extra dessert or an extra bottle of wine, and that's just enough to tilt the scales. And I'm not sure if you know how energy expenditure works, where we need so much energy every day to survive. Probably, I would say, off the top of my head, about 1,900 calories a day to 2,500, depending whether you're male or female, or however you are, to survive, just to keep functioning, maybe 3,000 at the top end. Now, the key is, when you're eating food that are high in calories and low in energy, do you ever get that feeling when you eat certain foods that you're still hungry? Because your body needs nutrition. It needs nutrition for energy, to repair itself, and for growth, and to feel better. So you could eat a chocolate bar, and the nutritional values in that chocolate bar, it might be very high in calorie, and the calories it has is very high in sugar, which gives you a rush and a burst of energy, yet it's not sustainable energy. Very high in calorie. What happens to the calories that we don't burn? Exactly. So in time, that's what's happening. Now, to get on top of that, we want to sort of identify a diary of what we eat, to get an idea of what we are eating. And the amount of people that have gone to write a diary, and I know you know when yourself, and look back and thought, actually, I didn't realise that I was consuming at these times. Now, to get on top of that, and we'll talk about how you can get on top of that throughout the seminar, which is key, is identifying which category we fall into. Some people eat for comfort, okay? You probably come across people who eat for comfort because they have that chocolate bar, or they go out and have that, for example, you ever come across kids who have a bad day at school, where do the parents take them to?
McDonald's.
Precisely, exactly. So it kind of is a comfort in their mind. It's like, okay, their association to feeling better is having that comfort food, okay? So emotionally, we call them emotional eaters, where whenever they feel they've had an argument with their partner, or they've had an argument with the boss at work, or things aren't going the way they want to go, then what they do is they'll comfort eat. And we've also got people who reward eat. So for example, when you're a kid growing up, your parents might say, if you finish off that rest of your plate, you can have that dessert. And it stays in our mind. When we get older, well, actually, we should finish everything off that's on the table, because it would be rude not to, type thing. Okay, so we've got various categories of people who eat for various reasons, because really all the food that we need to eat is just to sustain our energy. We don't really need any more than that. And how is food packaged on TV? How is it packaged? So let's say this was a can or a glass of a soft drink. Would they sell it on TV and tell you there's probably about 10 teaspoons of sugar and carbonated water and all sorts of chemicals in there? They wouldn't do that. You'd probably get a famous pop star singing and dancing, and they're all very positive associations. So next time you drive past a supermarket or a motorway or service station, you see all these cans lined up in a fridge, and you think, well, I'll have one of those, it's going to make me feel better. You may not even feel thirsty, you like the taste of it. Okay, and association to food is key as well, how we associate to it as well. So it may make us feel slightly better. Now, we can rationalise all we want, okay? We can rationalise. Logically, we know. I mean, how many people know what's good and what's not good for them out there? You'd have to say pretty much everyone has an idea. Smokers, for example, they know enough to know that it's not good for them. They carry on doing that. And the reason why they do that is simple, is because we've got, in our mind, we've got two parts of our mind, okay? Think of an iceberg, okay? It's a funny looking iceberg. Okay, so we've got the tip of the iceberg. You ever come across the tip of the iceberg? 90% is underneath that we can't see. So in an iceberg, we can only see 10%, 90% we can't see. Okay? When the mind is concerned, we've got a conscious mind, okay? And we've got an unconscious mind. Okay. Has everyone in here drive? Okay. When you first learn to drive, you've got to think first gear, second gear, third gear. Okay. Now you just get in and you go. Okay. Consciously, now it's unconscious. You don't need to think about it no more. Okay. The same applies for emotions where, you know, consciously we might tell ourselves not eating that extra dessert is the right thing in terms of getting us to where we want to get to. Yet the unconscious mind takes over and says, okay, that's going to make me feel this way. I'll do it anyway. And to sort of understand the way the mind works a little more deeper, do we need to tell ourselves how to breathe? It happens automatically. To blink, to whenever we're hungry. So our mind, physiologically, is running at an unconscious level, so do our habits. Okay? Our habits happen at an unconscious level. So you can go in and see someone who's the best nutritionist in the world and say, okay, what should I eat? And they can give you all the answers. Then you go away and just go back to what you were doing before, because eventually, as much as you want to rationalise, if this thing breaks away, who's going to win? It's the part underneath that's going to win, because that's where our conditioned thought process is. And the reason why we use psychological techniques is to help recondition people in their mind, their perception of what goes on. Okay, so if you ever come across anyone who's got any eating disorder on any level, where consciously they know the implications of the eating disorder, yet unconsciously they'll carry on acting out of that habit. And I think the thing is also to bear in mind too, there's a big stigma attached as well for a lot of people about how they should look, how they should feel, how they should be. And that doesn't make things any easier, because if we're comparing ourselves to people all the time, and a lot of times we get magazines who give you images of people, famous stars, how they look, which beaches they go swim, and where they holiday, and you're seeing them a lot of the time when they're in their peak condition. So really, potentially, people have got these false expectations of where they can be sustainably, day in, day out, because they're only seeing half of what goes on really. So maybe if they look a little bit more closely, they'll realise that those stars, when they're not